Hey there everyone, my name is Samuel Johnson, and this is a Star Sapphire ring. Rather inappropriate because I'm a guy, but hey, I wear lantern rings every day and it's in the lineup, so I'm gonna wear it. Anyway, with that lackluster introduction out of the way, you're probably wondering who the hell I am. Well, I am a very low-grade YouTuber who, for the last few years, has made it my main shtick to do various vlogs on shows and franchises that I myself grew up with as a kid, or just enjoyed in general. How the vlogs typically work is that every Friday, I watch an episode or entry into whatever show or franchise is the center for the vlog series I'm doing, and then after I watch that, I sit down in this here chair and then just kind of ramble on about whatever it is I watch. Typically it involves a disorganized plot summary where I stutter, slur, and just kind of go off in various directions. Then after that I get into my thoughts on whatever I watched and basically talk about whether I like it or not and whether I'd recommend it to other people to watch. And the shows and franchises that I've watched have varied in terms of quality and just franchises. Typically they're superhero themed or cartoons, but there are plenty of them. I started these vlogs by doing a vlog on classic Ben 10 before moving on to its sequel series, Ben 10 Alien Force, and then after that I moved on to various other shows like Danny Phantom, Code Lyoko, the MCU, which is technically still ongoing since those films are still coming out, a short-lived Spider-Man series, Steven Universe. I recently wrapped up a vlog series focusing on all the Pokemon movies, Xiaolin Showdown, just plenty of stuff. I even do the occasional seasonal vlogs where every October and Christmas I do vlogs centered around the holidays. But basically, I just look at whatever catches my interest. Just if I remember it fondly from my childhood, then I want to go back and revisit it because, hey, you know, maybe it's good. Or maybe it's something that I enjoyed as I'm older and just think, you know what, maybe this would be worth talking about. And so I just ramble on about any random shit that catches my interest. Which brings us to the topic of today's vlog, and you probably know what the topic is since, well, obviously you read the video title. We are going to talk about Jimmy Neutron. So, if you are unfamiliar with Jimmy Neutron, allow me to explain. The show was basically the brainchild of one John Alexander Davis, and the premise of the show was that it focused on a boy named, well, Jimmy Neutron, who was, for all intents and purposes, a genius, and not just a smart kid, but an IQ in the triple digits. And as such, with his magnificent IQ, Jimmy would basically create various inventions and doodads to try and, you know, make his life better, or just to have a fun adventure, or just basically do all this random shit because he could. The only problem is, Jimmy's a kid, and while his IQ is through the roof, his emotional intelligence is that of any other kid. And so, while he does tend to pat himself on the back for how inventive he can be and for all the things he can create, more times than often, they tend to bite him and everyone else in the butt. And as such, every time something goes wrong, he has to use his incredible intelligence to try and, you know, undo the problem he created and put things back to normal. The show itself was actually a very fun show when I was a kid. I remember watching it and having a very good time. I thought it was creative, I thought it was nice, I thought it was enjoyable, I liked the characters, I liked the animation. Overall, I just thought it was a very fun show. Was it one of my favorite cartoons? Maybe not, but it was still a very damn good show that I always enjoyed watching whenever it came on. So, so it brings us to the today's vlog. So, a few years ago, while I was doing another vlog series, which was either Steven Universe or Code Lyoko, probably Steven Universe, I began reminiscing about various shows for just whatever reason. I remembered at the time I had already planned to do my Xiaolin Showdown vlog because I had seen clips of that show on YouTube. However, as I was thinking about what to look at after Xiaolin Showdown, well, I remember Jimmy Neutron, mostly because I remember seeing this particular DVD collection, basically the full series complete collection of the Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, just kind of going around on Amazon, and I think even talked about by a Jimmy Neutron-centric account on Twitter. I don't remember what the account is called, I'm sorry to say, but it was one that I followed. They're probably even still active, and if they are seeing this video, I am so sorry that I do not remember your handle, especially because these people actually helped me get this DVD when I was looking for it. But point is, it managed to percolate the gray matter in my head just enough that I began thinking about Jimmy Neutron, and I got nostalgic and decided, you know what? Why don't I talk about that show? Of course, it was going to be a while before I got to it because I had other vlogs lined up, but I did figure that maybe I should give this show the time of day. I thought it was worth talking about, and well, here we are now. As well, for the next year, I suppose, I guess, I don't know, I'm going to be doing a vlog series on the Jimmy Neutron franchise. How the vlogs are typically going to go is that like with my regular vlogs, I'm going to be looking at an episode from the series every Friday and then just sitting in this here chair and creating a craptacular vlog. If you want to watch that, be my guest, but I want to make some things clear. Firstly, when I'm talking about the franchise, I mean everything that I'm holding here, which means not just the show, but we're going to be talking about the movie that started it all. Yep, while the show may have been what the intended plan was for the franchise, it all got started with this movie. In fact, here's actually a little story. When John Davis actually pitched the show Jimmy Neutron to Nickelodeon, they gave it the thumbs up and said that they could make a show out of it. They did talk about that they could possibly make a movie, and John's response was, well, why don't we make the movie first? That way we'll have the assets available when we can go and make the show. And as such, the movie is what came first. So I find that to actually be very interesting. With that said, though, that also means while I am going to be looking at the movie, I don't plan to look at the pilot. Yes, I am aware of the Runaway Rocket Boy pilot, and it's even included as one of the bonus features on the complete series collection. I'm not going to say that looking at the pilot is completely off the table. At best, I'm probably going to look at it as like an April Fool's Day special. It's not going to be part of the regular vlogs. But likewise, just as I'm going to be looking at the movie, I also plan to look at the, Jimmy Timmy Power Hour specials, i.e. the Jimmy Neutron Fairly OddParents crossovers. And how I plan to look at those is that I plan to look at each of the specials after I finish one of the seasons of Jimmy Neutron. So after I finish Season 1, I'll look at the first special, Season 2, the second special, and once I wrap up the series, we'll end things with the third special. So there you go. Also, on that same note, when it comes down to looking at the episodes, I am fully aware that a lot of the episodes are separated into two 11-minute segments. And as such, for those episodes, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be combining the 11-minute segments in one video. Kind of like what I did with Steven Universe and Over the Garden Wall. I'll be looking at 2 segments per video. Which I actually feel it can be appropriate because I did look it up, and typically segments that are paired together are considered one episode. So like, this segment would be considered episode, 3A, and then the second segment would be episode 3B. So they are part of the same episode. It's just they're telling completely different stories. So basically I think I can get away with just calling them one full episode. On top of that, I have heard rumors that there is a Jimmy Neutron movie in the works. A second Jimmy Neutron movie, I mean. And if those rumors end up proving true, then yes, I will eventually look at that as well. It may not be part of the regular vlogs, but when it does come out, I'll be sure to give it the time of day. And finally, I am aware of the spin-off series to Jimmy Neutron, Planet Sheen. And originally, I had no plans to look at that show. I had not seen any episode of Planet Sheen in full, and from what I've heard about the series, I wasn't missing out on much. It didn't look or sound like a show that I wanted to invest any time in. It didn't help the fact that there are no DVDs of it, and, well, I like owning DVDs when I do these vlogs. Of course, I'll make some exceptions here and there, so I have done vlogs for shows that I don't own physical collections for, i.e. Code Lyoko. But the thing is, shortly before I was going to be doing these vlogs, one of the main actors from the Jimmy Neutron franchise sadly passed away, Jeffrey Garcia, who played Sheen. With that in mind, while I am still iffy on doing Planet Sheen, I am not against possibly looking at it in the future, maybe as a follow-up to these vlogs. It's not going to be like part of these regular vlogs, like with Ben 10 and Ben 10 Alien Force. It'd probably be a separate vlog series altogether, but let's just say that while I'm not entirely for watching Planet Sheen, it's not entirely off the table either. We'll see how I feel by the time I finish off with this show, but basically let's just say that me looking at Planet Sheen is just kind of nebulous at the moment. Not against it at the time, but I'm not really for it either. So if you think I should look at Planet Sheen, just say something, let me know, and I think I'll consider it, and if I get enough support, maybe I will put that as the next vlog after I finish this one. But with all that out of the way, with all those ground rules set, and all of my craptacular rambling out of the way, then I hope that you will join me for the next year, dear viewers, as we take to the stars, buy candy bars, and see a kid with a knack for invention as we journey off into the Neutron perspectives.